Myself introduction. I am Dr. K. Iyna, Assistant Professor, BG Research Department of Economics, National College, Autonomous, Tiruchirappalli. Good morning to one and all gathered here. Welcome to my dear students. We will discuss about it in this video, International Economics. International Economics Introduction, need for separate study. The international economics is concerned with the effects upon economic activity from international differences in productive resources and consumer and preferences and the international institutions that affect them. It seeks to explain the patterns and consequences of transaction and interaction between the inhabitants of different countries, including trade and investment and transaction. International trade, goods and services flows across international boundaries from supply and demand factors, economic integration and international factor movements and policy variables such as tariff and trade corridors. The international finance, the flow of capital across the international financial markets and the effects of these movements of an exchange rates. International monetary economics and international macroeconomics, flow of money across the countries and the resulting effects on their economics as whole. The international political economy, international relations and the impacts from the example, international conflict and international negotiation and international transaction. National security and economic, social and nationalism and international agreements and observances. What is importance of international economics? International economics deals basically with those economic principles with government and exchange of goods and services and with special policy problems which arise in view of this. What are the branches of international economics? The international economics is a field of study which assess the implication of international trade in goods and services and investment. There are two broad subfields within international trade. The international trade and next one international finance. The next scope of international economics. The scope of international economics is wide, which such as it includes various concepts such as globalization, gains from trade, pattern of trade, balance of payments and EDI. Apart from this, international economics describe production, trade and investment and between the countries. EDI, electronic data in charge, company electronically rather than with paper. Next, distinction between the internal and international trade. The internal trade is the trade that takes place between two parties within the geographical boundaries of the nation. The international trade is the trade where two or more individuals from two different countries are involved in the trade. It is also known as foreign trade. Next, internal trade. The internal trade is trade that involves buying and selling taking place between two parties which are located within the political and geographical boundaries of the country. There is no exchange of no currency as trade takes place within the boundaries of the nation. No trade restriction for internal trade. Transportation cost less than trade taken place within the borders of the country. Only those goods and services are traded that are available in the country. Does not generate any foreign reserve. Next one, international trade. The international trade is referred to as a trade that involves buying and selling of goods between two individual or business located in two different countries. Exchange of currency is there between two countries, individuals, business involved in the trade. The international trade has different restrictions as the two countries involved in two have different policies with regards to trade. The transportation cost as goods and need to be transported across the world helps countries to trade goods that are produced in surplus or purchases and goods that scarcely available. International trade generates foreign reserves for two trading countries. Next, the futures of international trade. The unique, unequal distribution of natural resources and the regional differences are the primary reasons for the existence of international trade. Let us examine this more elaborately. First one, regional differences. Second one, international immobility of factors. Third one, different monetary system. Fourth one, controls and regulation. Fifth one, greater and geographical distance and transport cost. Sixth one, trade between distinct in identities. Seventh one, problems of balance of payments, disequilibrium. Eighth one, different markets and goods. In next topic, advantages of international trade. First one, division of labor and specialization. Reduction of prices. Third one, reduce and monopolistic elaboration. Fourth one, national well-being. Fifth one, production of economic interests. And sixth one, facilitate theft payment. Seventh one, working of international monetary system. Eighth one, poor and background nations can become rich and forward. Ninth one, exchange in the quality of labor and capital. Tenth one, equal access to raw materials and world and markets. The expenses in volume of trade. Next topic, the classical theory of international trade. The classical theory of trade is based on the labor cost of the value. This theory states that goods are exchanged against to one another according to the relative amounts of labor and embodied in them. The goods which have equal price embody equal amounts of labor. According to the classical theory, the organization is considered as a machine and the human beings as different components, part of that machine. The classical theory is of international trade. His theory was first developed by Adam Smith in his famous book That Wealth of Nation, published in 1776. Ricardo's contribution to international trade theory have been deemed in classical theory is sometimes also referred to as Ricardian theory. The Ricardo's theory of comparative cost or comparative differences in cost. The David Ricardo in his magnificent work entitled The Principles of Political Economy and Taxation, published in 1817. The focus of Ricardian theory lies in the principal comparative advantages. The comparative differences cost differences in countries because the geographical division of labor and specialization production. To do different in climate, natural resources and geographical situation and the efficiency of labor, a country can produce one can modify at a lower cost than the other. The assumption of the theory, the Ricardian theory of comparative cost is based on some assumption. The assumptions are as follows. First one, there are two countries. The Ricardo choose two countries, England and Portugal, producing wine and cloth for purpose of exchange in international trade. The labor is the only factor of production and the supply of labor remains unchanged in both countries. Labor is immobile between two countries gives rise to difference in cost and consequent specialization and trading. The supply of labor change. The prices of two commodities are determined by labor cost and labor hours and calculated in money terms, the theory remains valid. The commodities are produced under the law of constant rate. Technological knowledge remains unchanged. Trade between the two countries takes place one basis of the commodities. No transfer rate costs are involved in carrying trade between the two countries, or the transport costs are traded by being equal in both ways. Criticism of comparative cost. The theory was uses only labor cost. Second one, the theory disregards the character of labor. The theory neglects transport costs. The theory is based on a narrow assumption of two countries and two commodities model. The theory wrongly assumes the assumptions of fixed preparation unrealistic. The factors of production are not fully mobile internally. The realistic assumption of free trade completely neglects demand aspect. Impossibility of complete specialization, taste, preference and entonements and technological etc. Hepperler's opportunity cost theory. The Hepperler's opportunity cost theory or new classical theory. The Hepperler's abandoned the labor cost theory of value and instead made approach through opportunity cost. Cost of using something in a particular venture is the benefit foregone and by not using in its best the alternative use. The concept of opportunity cost can be also used in the long term decision. For example, in the case of college education, the cost of includes not only the books, the tuition fees, etc. Assumptions of the theory in Hepperler's opportunity cost. First one, there are two countries and two factors of production, labor and capital. Second one, only two commodities. Third one, perfect competition in the factor market, commodity market. The price is each commodity equals its marginal money cost. Fifth one, the marginal productivity in each employment. Sixth one, the supply of each factor fixed. Seventh one, there is full employment in each country. Eighth one, the technological remains constant. Ninth one, factors of immobile. 10th one, trade between two countries is completely free and unrestricted. There are some salient points of their formulation. The comparative advantages in price and merely in cost. Second one, differences cost and prices and efficiency productivity. Third one, factor terms of factor price ratio. And fourth one, unemployment of the factors of production. Fifth one, partial specialization. Sixth one, price equilibrium. Thank you, one and all.